Hello guys, welcome back once again. In the last session, we discussed VPN basics, and that was totally a theoretical session. And today we are going to take a lab session that how actually it is being configured on the checkpoint firewall. Okay, so I have taken a scenario here. But first, I just want to remind you what we have learned in the previous session. So we focused on the IPsec VPN first, right? We learned that how it is being configured, what is the asymmetric algorithm, what is the symmetric algorithm, what is PSK, that is pre-shared key, right? Authentication, integrity, lot of things we discussed in the previous session. So if you have not gone through these things, I will recommend to go to the previous session, or if you have forgot what we are going to cover in this one, please review the previous one first and then watch this lab session. Although it is not going to be so difficult to understand this session because this is totally a lab demonstration, but you will not understand that what actually it is going on. Or let us suppose we are choosing the Diffie-Hellman group 2, so you will understand that we are configuring that one, but you are not going to actually understand that why we are configuring that group 2, correct? So let's not waste out more time, just focus on the lab. For that purpose, I have created one lab, and which is something like this, right? Let me change the color first. Shift 2. I think this should be good color. Yellow is not good one. Let me take another one. Yeah, this is better. Okay. So what we are going to do in this lab, what I have taken three checkpoint firewall, this, this one, and this one, where this checkpoint firewall is going to work as a manager. This will be our gateway one, or we can also say the checkpoint firewall one, but here I have taken the gateway one. I think that's a good way to tell that one. And this will be the gateway 2. These gateway 1 and gateway 2, these will be managed by this manager, although this is not a very uh, no production type of environment, because in the real scenarios this manager is normally inside the checkpoint firewall, not outside, because this is going to be our internet facing. But just to for the lab purpose I have done so. It does not matter too much, but just to explain you that if you do not plan such type of scenarios in any production environment, always keep your manager inside zone, means that should be the secure, because this is going to be internet facing. You see, this is going to this switch 3725, and this is connected to this internet. So this way it is becomes insecure if you configure a manager towards the internet facing interface, right? What we are going to do, we have two firewalls. This is firewall 1, this is firewall 2. So for the production environment or the real time scenario, we can just assume that this is our ISP link. We have taken any of this lease line from any of the vendor, and this is going to be our not safe zone, untrust zone, we can say, or the untrust link, we can say, right? So in this one, we are going to configure the VPN tunnel, and we will make the traffic encrypted so that nobody can decrypt it. So our target will be to reach from this location one. This is our firewall, this is our something like internet network, right? So this is location 1, and to after the some other site, that is site 2 or the gateway 2, we can say. At gateway 2 there is a server 2. Here we can say also say there's a DMZ, but here there is a one server, and we will try to reach from this. Both are our internet network. This is also our company, we can say organization, and this is also our own organization. So the server is sitting on different site location. This is something like location 2, we can say. So our server is at the location 2, and your machine or your computer is trying to access through a ISP link and wants to access the web server which is at the location 2. So whenever we are trying to access this, obviously it is using any of this link, and this is going to be a unsecure zone, right? If the packet is traveling through the internet, it can be intercepted by any of the hacker or any wrong guys. So for that purpose, we will configure the VPN tunnel so that if anyone intercept that one, they will not able to decrypt, or they will not able to understand what the traffic is traveling through that link. So that's what we are going to do in this lab. So if I talk about the IP configuration, so what I have done, this is basically I have taken a symbol as a computer, but this is basically a Cisco router, and I will use that router as a computer. And the same thing is going to be with this server 2. This is also basically a Cisco router, and but I'm going to use that one as a server. It means there's nothing else. We will just configure the IP address and the default route, so it will act as an end device. That's it. And if I talk about the IP subnets, so here we have taken the network as 172.16.10.0, where 10.1 will be configured on this interface, 10.2 is going to be configured on this interface, right? So these interfaces I have already configured to save your time, because I have already covered in the previous session that how to configure these things. So I don't want to waste this time once again to configuring these, right? And the very important part, that the manager, here the manager IP address is 100, and as this is a switch, so all the devices connecting from this switch should be on the same subnet. So this is 100, 137.100, this is 137.140, this is 137.51, this is 137.50, right? So all are in the 137, you see, 137. And this is not a router, this is basically a Windows machine. And in this machine we will using the IP policy configuration, right? If I open it, I will be able to, or I will not. Let me, yeah, I'm. So why it is something like that? Okay, let's install it. And the main problem was that my license is going to expire, so I'm doing a little bit hurry, right? Because this is just remaining for I think only 1 day. Let's check first that how many days are remaining. Most probably I just checked it and it was only 1 day remaining. Not activated. License status. Let's just check. I remember it was 1 day, because most of the time I do not pay it and just use the trial version. And if you are also facing the same thing, you can wipe the configuration from your device, and expiration on the 2nd of August, and today is 1st August. I think it will expire tomorrow, so we have 2 days at least. Anyways, so we were discussing the topology. So that's what this is. And if I go to this machine Windows, so it opens like this, right? This is a Windows machine, and right now we are using this smart console to configure this policy, right? So if you close it, I will do it once again, close it as well. So this is like a just computer, right? Normal computer, and on this smart console I will configure the, first I will log into the manager. And for the server, I have taken the IP addresses like 20.20.1 and 20.20.2. So I have written it, so not to explain too much on that. And if you are good in the CCNA, you will easily understand that why I have done this. And the same thing is with this one. So what I'm going to do right now, I will configure the IPsec VPN, and basically my focus will be to ping this from location 1 to the server 2. So I will ping here to here using the VPN configured here. Perfect. So that's what my target will be. Let's see what configuration we have to do for that purpose. So first of all, just I will log in the Windows machine here, and from Windows machine, I will connect to the manager 137.100. As usual, I think there's nothing new here. Let me click here. Yeah, here we are. And the password mine is admin123. It will take few seconds and it will connect. Sometimes it also disconnects, like if you have just started your checkpoint firewalls or gateways, it takes some time. So, or it says that unable to connect. So do not lose your hope. It is because just because I know sometimes when I used did it first time, I remember it was not able to connect, and then I just pinged it too much. I checked routing, why interface is not connecting, and then I just researched some of the articles, and they said that it takes some time. Means whenever you just uh, switch on your firewall, right? So it is takes some time to run all the processes. So it is not like going to be in the production environment that it will always take a long time to connect to the manager. It is basically whenever you switch on your firewall manager, right? So in the production, we are not going to switch it off. This is just happening in our lab environment. So this is being faced in the lab environment only. So if you're quite starting the lab, so first thing you have to do, you have to add the gateways, gateway 1 and gateway 2 in your manager. So I have already done that one. So for that purpose, you don't have nothing extra you have to do it. You just have to put the IP address here of the gateways, and then you go to the communication and establish the trust. That's it. Whatever the password you have, you just paste it. So we have already covered this one. I have just explained once again that if you have not in mind that how I did it, right? So first of all, it will be your job to do this. Second part will be the configuration on the IP addresses of this location one. So I think, yeah, so this is basically router one. Let me change the name as a location one so that you do not get confused. Location one. Okay, I have to give it config t first. Host name, location one. Perfect. So now it has been changed as a location one. If I talk about the IP configuration, so this is basically a router. So show, okay, I have to do it, do show IP interface brief. So this is basically when I'm in the config mode. So I have given the IP address 170.16.10.1 to the interface of the fast Ethernet 0. So fast Ethernet 0 is which one? This, right? FA 0/0. Here I have given the IP address. Another thing you have to do, you have to give the default gateway. So if I show you the show IP route, so I have given a static route that whenever any packet comes and it has to go outside, please go to 172.16.10.2. It is like whenever we configure the default gateway in our computer, it's the same thing, right? If you don't know, then you just have to give this command config t IP route 0.0.0.0 0.0.0.0.0, and it should go to the 172.16.10.2. Just hit enter, nothing else. I can hit enter once again, and it will do the same thing. It will show the IP route like this, nothing else. If I run that command once again, you see that nothing has been changed. It is same as it is. So if you have not given this command, it will not come like as a static route. Same thing we have to do on the server 2, but here the IP address will be 20.20.2 on the gig 0/0. So let me show you. Name is find web server 2, and show IP interface brief, and here the IP address is 20.20.2, right? And the IP route default gateway, show IP route, that should be like 20.20.2. Oh, sorry, not this one, this one, 20.20.1. Why it is highlighted? Yeah, now it's fine. So 20.20. 1. So this 20.20.1 is basically the interface which is at the checkpoint firewall, right? 20.20.1. So although I have reversed this one, this 20.10.2 means 2 is at the gateway here, and this 1 is the gateway 2. So just don't get confused. Okay. And now another thing we have to do, the IP address configuration at the gateway, right? So first we will log in the gateway 1. Although whatever I'm covering right now, that has already been covered and you know it very well, but I'm just repeating once again that it will cross verify that what I have done is not wrong something. And another thing that you will understand that what actually I have done it, right? So to configure this IP addresses, what we do, we log into the Gaia portal. How basically that works? You have to directly log into the gateway. So gateway IP address is 192.168.137.50. See here, this one, 192.168.137.50. So I'm trying to connect gateway 1 from this, like this, right? So that is opened, and let me log in it. My password is always admin123. And here you can go to the network interfaces. So I have configured interfaces Ethernet 0, Ethernet 1, Ethernet 2 as per this diagram. So Ethernet 0 is 137.50 from where we are connected, 10.10.10.1 this interface, 172.16.10.2, that is Ethernet 2. So let's check. Ethernet 2 is 172. something. Ethernet 2 is this one, right? If you want to add more, although I think Ethernet 3, right? If you want to edit it, you just select it and edit it from here. If you connect anything else, but nothing is connected as of now, so I'm not going to configure it. Same thing you have to do on the another gateway for this gateway 2, right? So how you are going to do? You will login dot 51 like this. This has already been configured, so not to worry much, but I'll show you. This is how. Ethernet 0 dot 51, Ethernet 1 172.16.20.2, Ethernet 1, this one 172.16.20.2. I hope it is not wrong. That's right. So that was about the basic configuration, right? And now let's start with the real fun. And I'm going to log on to the smart console. Perfect. So very first you have to do, whenever you are going to configure the VPN, you need to go to the gateways and servers. Open any of the gateway 1, right? And just make sure that this IPsec VPN blade is enabled. If this is not enabled, this is basically a licensed feature. If you don't have the license, you cannot do it. As this is our lab environment, not a problem, we can do everything, but just make sure this is enabled. So by default, if you have not enabled it in your firewall, make sure this is enabled, right? Same thing you have to do it on the other one, gateway 2, IPsec VPN, and just click enable. Another part, make sure that whatever the interfaces you are having or you have configured, they are visible here, Ethernet 0, 1 and 2. If not, just click get interfaces with or without topology, does not matter, but it will sync up with the actual firewall configuration and whatever interfaces we are seeing here, right? Next thing is VPN part is done. Now let's configure a security policy. But before security policy, let us create a VPN community. Community means that this is VPN community, but what is VPN community means that what are the gateways or the firewalls that will be uh, part of that VPN. So that's what we are going to make a VPN community. This is like basically an object. So two of the objects are already by default created. That is my intranet and remote access. But we are going to create for the site-to-site VPN. So just right click here. There are two options. Either you can use the star community or it is a meshed community. I hope you are very much aware that what are basically the star and meshed, right? So star is like we are having one hub here and multiple sites connected like this from. So this is basically a star, right? Or we also call it as a hub and spoke. While in the meshed community, all the gateways are just meshed up with each other, all connected together, right? So this is we call it as meshed community. So basically today we are going to configure as a star community. Name I will give it as site to site. Okay. Gateways. So the first is saying the center gateway. Center gateway means that what will be your hub. So hub I'm keeping as a gateway 1. And the satellite is basically a Spock gateways, but the name they have given us a satellite. So not a problem. We will have to cope up with that. But basically satellite gateways means a Spock. So I'm taking as a gateway 2 as an Spock. Okay. Next thing is encrypted traffic. So whatever we are doing right now, we are just creating a community. We are not configuring this thing in any of the firewall right now. We are just creating a type of template, right? It is saying that accept all encrypted traffic on both center and satellite gateways. So it is basically whenever we want traffic from any of the sources, like either it is being accepted from the hub or from the spoke, then we enable it. And if we want only from the one side, either from hub or spoke, then we leave as it is. Normally in normal cases, we just leave as it is. Encryption. So encryption method we can choose as per our requirement. Normally we are going to use as IKE version 1. IKE stands for Internet Key Exchange, right? And for the custom encryption suite, this is like we are configuring the phase 1 tunnel, whatever we have discussed in the theoretical session in the previous one or two. So this is the configuration to here. Up to here, this is like phase 1 configuration. So for running a phase 1, what are the parameters we are going to configure? So encryption algorithm, we are configuring as AES-256. For data integrity, we are using SHA-1. Diffie-Hellman group, we are going to use group 2. If you want to change them, you can choose as per your requirement. Either you can use DES, AES 128 or 3 days. So this is basically a requirement from your organization that what algorithm you want to choose or what mechanism you want for the data integrity. But be cautious about this one. The more complex algorithm you choose, the more process intensive it will be. It will using the more memory and CPU uses of your devices. And if your device is not capable enough to handle those, it may warm up and go down or it could be gone off, right? So always be very cautious about choosing this one. So But obviously, whenever there's a bank environment or very high security traffic is traveling, then we use this high mechanism or high group. Like group 2 is having 1024 bit, and group 20, not group 20, in fact, this like group 14, 2048 bit. So just based on your requirement that which one you want to configure. Same thing is with the phase 2, that what encryption algorithm you want to use in the phase 2. Here we are using AES 256, and in the phase 2 we are using AES 128. I'm not going to change this one. I'm keeping them as a default, so make our life easy. But if you are in the production environment, you can choose as per your requirement or the capacity of your device and how much it can handle. Data integrity, we can choose as per our requirement. And this is the important thing that we discussed, that perfect forward secrecy, this one. So we can enable or disable it from here, right? We discussed with the name as a PFS, perfect forward secrecy. So if you enable it, then it will give you an option to choose it, that which of the Diffie-Hellman group you want to choose in the PFS, right? If I enable it, it gives me an option to choose this one, but I don't want to this PFS to be enabled as of now. I want to make our life easy, not too difficult. Override encryption for externally managed gateways. So we don't have any externally managed gateways as of now. I will discuss more that what does this mean, basically, that externally managed gateways. I will discuss after covering this one, okay? Next thing is our tunnel management. So there's three options here: one VPN tunnel per each pair of host, one VPN tunnel per subnet pair, one VPN tunnel per gateways pair. So it is basically that what they want to say. If you choose the first option, that one VPN tunnel per each pair of host, it means that whenever you are having like, let me open the diagram, it will be easy for you to understand. Oh, where it's gone. Oh, here it is. If you have chosen the one tunnel per host, it means that, let us suppose this is one computer and this is one server. So this will be like one tunnel between these. If they are having the one more computer here, right? And if you want to connect this server, there will be one more tunnel for that. If you having one more computer here, there will be three tunnels. So but in the real life, right, in the actual scenarios, we are having so many computers, so many users, like thousands of 2000 users. So it like, if there is a 2000 users, so it will be 2000 tunnels. 2000 tunnel means 2000 negotiations, 2000 Diffie-Hellman and DH symmetric key calculations. You see that how process intensive it will be, and it will be really difficult for gateways to manage such type of so multiple tunnels. Either, although it is pretty sure that it will be, it will be too much security, but do we really need such a security? No, obviously we don't need so much security. We want the security, but not too much that it costs our device, and it is our device are going to be overloaded or going to be burned out, right? We don't want that one. And the second option, which was like one VPN tunnel per subnet pair. So it is like that whenever we are having the one subnet means that let us suppose this 172.16.10.0 network. So for one subnet, it will be, even if this computer is also in this subnet, this is also in same subnet. So they will be forming just one single tunnel, and they will be communicating to the server. Right. So this is the second option. Either you can choose that one subnet pair, or you can use by the host pair. Let us check the third option. What is the third option? The third option is one VPN tunnel per gateway pair. One gateway pair means that totally Let me clear it. Means this is one pair, right? So it means that they will be just forming one tunnel between them, and all the traffic will be going from these tunnel. It is like that, so less security, too less, in fact, I should say. And if we choose the first one, that is too high security. So what we are going to do, we are going to be normally we do the trade-off. We do not want too much security. We don't want very lenient security. So best way is to choose the second option, which is saying the one VPN tunnel per subnet pair. So that's the best way. Other if you, although it is enough, it's really free. You can choose any of the options. But this is the second one is the most appropriate or logical. Next thing is our VPN routing. So there are three options that whenever the traffic is traveling, it is traveling to connecting to the center only. But the other these are self-explanatory. There's nothing much to explain, but still. So I just want to change so that you can see the connectivity that how it just changes. If I connect it to the center only, my satellite gateway or the host or the SPOC is connecting to the center only. If I change the second option, you see that the center and to the other satellites through center. If this is going to be communicating with the this guy, so it will be communicating via center only, not directly that it is communicating like this. It's not happening like this, right? They are not communicating like this. Third option is to center or through center to other satellites like this, you see, to the other VPN target. So it is quite explanatory. There's nothing much to explain in that. Next is multiple entry points. So enable center gateways as MEP. So we don't have any multiple entry points as of now. So nothing to worry about that. Excluded services. It is like that, sometimes we want that only whenever we are sending the FTP traffic, that should be going through the VPN tunnel. If anyone using any like any services, I cannot say take any name that which one is not required, but if you want that, let us suppose for the port number 5000, you don't want the services to be encrypted, so you can add that under this, and whenever the traffic is traveling on this service 5000, that traffic is not being encrypted, right? It will not be encrypted, and it will be just go traveling outside of a tunnel. So it is like whatever you want to exclude from your tunnel, that's it. Another thing is like a shared secret. So shared secret is basically, we should say, the PSK thing. PSK is pre-shared key. It's like authentication, means setting the password. So if you want to use this shared secret, that is okay. But you only use this one whenever you want to use the password. But we are using the security certificate as of now. You understand, right? No? Okay, let me explain by this way. Whenever we took this manager here, this one, and we initiated a secure internal communication to this gateway, we installed a certificate, right? A certificate is being set up on this gateway too. And whenever we set up SIC, secure internal communication from gateway 1, a certificate is being set up on the gateway 1. So now both the gateway 1 and gateway 2 have the certificate. They will communicate or authenticate using this certificate, and the certificate are being assigned by a well-known manager. They both trust that if you have received a certificate from the same manager, we trust that you are the genuine guy, you are authenticated. So that is mean by the uh, trust user, or we can say the authenticated users. So here we are not using the password, or we can say the PSK. We are just using the certificate to authenticate the gateway, that whether the our to whom I'm connecting our VPN tunnel, is that guy genuine or not? We are trusting that certificate, that if that guy is having the valid certificate, it means that he is a genuine one. Another thing is our wire mode. And just one more thing on the shared secret. So whenever we are connecting or setting up the VPN tunnel between the checkpoint firewalls, this is basically always done via certificate. If it is not being connected to any externally gateway, like if you are connecting to the Cisco router or Cisco ASA firewall or FortiGate. So in that case, we do not, the other device is not having the certificate. So for in that case, we will use this password, or we can say the shared secret, because that is not having a valid certificate, that other device. So for that purpose, we use the password, or we can say the shared secret. Another thing is our wire mode. This is basically a bypass firewall. So this is by default feature in the Cisco ASA, that whenever any encrypted traffic is, like this is our VPN tunnel, and normally whenever the traffic is traveling to this, at this point it is being encrypted. What this mode means, that we suspect or expect that this traffic is coming from any other source which is already encrypted. And if the traffic is already encrypted, we don't want to encrypt that once again. We will simply pass through our tunnel, or we can say we will bypass the tunnel. We will not go inside the tunnel, right? If we go inside the tunnel, that's two. Yeah. So this is I just lose the pen. No. Did I get it? No. Okay, let's just hold on, guys. Let me open my pen. Okay, no, I got it now. So means that whenever we want to bypass, means that any encrypted traffic, already encrypted traffic is coming, just bypass that VPN. We don't want to encrypt that once again. So that's what this bypass firewall means. That it just totally depends on you, that if you know the traffic is already encrypted, you can bypass it via the wire mode. Next section is our advanced. So advanced is basically setting up the timers, that whatever the timers you want to set for the IKE phase 1 or IKE phase 2. So we this by default for the IKE phase 1, timer is 1440 minutes, that is basically 24 hours. And the same thing is with the IKE phase 2, this is basically 1 hour, right? So in phase 2, this is renegotiation happens, or the shared secret key is being exchanged after every 1 hour, while the DH key, Diffie-Hellman key, that is being exchanged at the 24-hour. Clear? Once we set up, put the OK, this is being configured. Let me put it OK now. We have done a lot of things, and I have explained you so slowly. I think you might have feel bored, but not a problem. This is required. We will see it here, site to site VPN. Yeah, this is site to site. So now we have created an object for the VPN community. Now we will create a security policy, and we will use this site to site in that security policy. So let me add a rule here. Okay. And now we will say that is a VPN traffic. And for that, first I have to create the objects, because I have not created them. Let me go to the new network, and I'm going to create an object as a location 1. Network address should be this one, 172.16.10.0, 172.16.10.0. Subnet mask will be 255.255.5. 255.0. I'm not going to enable NAT as of now, so NAT will be disabled. Okay, and that's it. This is our location 1. And next thing, I'm going to create an object for the server 2, 20.20.0, this network. One more network, and this is web server. Okay, this is a comment. Object name should be here, web server 2. Network address will be 20.20.20.0, 255.255.255.0. Put it OK. That's fine. Let me go it here. Network objects, networks. I have created 2, location 1 and or not seb. Let me change it if I can. This would be web server, not seb server. Looks good. And if the traffic is initiated from the location 1 and it is going to the web server 2, right? And VPN, this time I will not put it as any. I'm going to use as, let it as switch to services, yeah, any, and this is just accept. And where is our VPN community? Go back, VPN community, site to site, and I am going to crop it here, right? So now whenever this security policy will be hit, this will be using the whatever the VPN configuration are used on this site to site, whatever the DH group or encryption mechanism, DES or 3days, right? Whatever the configuration we are doing, the same it will be doing, right? And the same thing it will have to do whenever the reply is coming, right? Means the traffic is being initiated from this web server 2 and it is going to location 1 like this. Means the traffic is getting reply, right? If it is getting the reply, then also it should use our site to site VPN. If you do not do this, the return traffic may not be encrypted. So that is okay, except yes, I want to log it as well. And just install this policy. And our next job will be to check whether our tunnel has come up or it has not. For that purpose, we will go to the logs and monitors. We'll let it install. Meanwhile, we'll save our time and go to the logs and monitor. Yeah, it is installed successfully, right? Succeeded. And there is an option here at the bottom, tunnel and user monitoring, right? So I will go to the tunnel and user monitoring. So this is basically an open a new feature, or we can say the app, that is Smart View Monitor. We can go to the VPN and IPsec VPN. So you see that gateway to the gateway tunnel one tunnel is already there, right? Let us see here for more details. And earlier it was in the wait state. You just see, or if you have missed it, not a problem, you can watch the recording again. Earlier it was in wait state because it has to get some traffic to get the tunnel up, but I think it have got something, because by default some of the ping are already ongoing. So because of that, this tunnel is okay. So VPN status is okay. but we do not see any traffic as of now here. Encrypted throughput 3221. Let me ping it from my location 1 to the web server 2. So it will create a much traffic. Ping 20.20.20.2. So it should have gets little more traffic. You see, there's 312. It has increased. Let me give something more. Ping 20.20.20.2 and repeat it 1000 times. Something is okay. I cannot do it in this mode. And repeat it 1000 times. So now we will be seeing the much traffic here. You see, high traffic, going, 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 accumulative, right? Encrypted, decrypted. So decrypted means that whatever the traffic is being received on this, that is being decrypted, and whatever the traffic is going outside, that is being encrypted. So sometimes we also can see the problem that it is encrypting the traffic but not decrypting the traffic. It means that it is not getting the reply or anything wrong at the other side, that we are not getting the traffic from other side. So that may happen. And same thing we can do at the server 2. Let me just check it here. Enable ping 172.16.10. It is, I think, 1. Yeah. And this time I'm going to repeat here as well 1000 times. Let's see the traffic. Yeah, it's working, right? It is increasing, and this is accumulative, the total counters. So that's what the basically the tunnel it is, right? So that's how it is up to for the VPN configuration. And the time is too much, 47 minutes has already gone. I wanted to explain some more things, but I think I have to stop here, right? And I will cover up some of the more things in the next session. What I'm going to cover, that I will tell you right now. Three things I'm going to cover here. The very first thing, that what happens that whenever this is a checkpoint gateway and this is our externally managed. Externally managed means that it can be a Cisco ASA, or it can be any other FortiGate, Palo Alto, any other Juniper, anything it can be, right? So that is externally managed. That is not being managed by our manager. So that's what first thing we have to do. Another thing we have to do, that either this gateway 1 is checkpoint, this gateway 2 is also a checkpoint, but they are not being managed from the single manager or the single administrator. This checkpoint gateway 1 will be managed from this manager. This checkpoint 2 will be managed from another manager. So what happens that in that case, that the it creates the trust issues. These two things we are going to discuss in the next session. And the third session, what about the internet? That if the user is going to access the internet, means the traffic whatever is being sent here, that is automatically going to the this gateway, right? It is not going to the internet, or it is being encrypted. So that is another problem that will also we will do, because that for that purpose we need netting as well, right? So that's we will cover in the next session, because this is going to be quite long, and I think it will take 30 to 40 minutes once again. So this will video will be, I think, 2 hours around. So I just don't want to do that one. So I'm stopping as of now. If you have any questions, please reach out to me or write in the comment sections. I will get back to you. Okay, guys. See you soon in the next session. Till that, bye bye.